So I feel to do a little reintroduction as I am feeling more ready to get back out in the world, holding space, working towards creating a space. Have been for a while, but very slowly and very intentionally, because I really want to, make sure that I'm ready first and foremost, like logistically, energetically, physically, before holding space, but also make sure I'm doing it in the most responsible way. I'm really not trying to slip back into the loop that I was in when I was teaching before. Like, I felt like I was just like stuck playing the same track within my classes, and things just didn't really feel like they flowed to me. I know I'm good at what I do. People enjoy my classes. I love teaching them. But I guess it was down to the spaces that I was in, the disconnection from the deeper roots of the practice that I was unaware of at the time. Well, I was aware, but not as aware as I am now. So yeah, I have been working. If you've seen my previous posts, I'm speaking about afrocentric yoga. It's not it's not some kind of like gimmick. It's not any term I'm trying to coin. It's not something that I'm going to create a brand from, even though I could easily do it. It goes against a lot of things that I believe in, and I'm trying to embody with the way that I offer my energy, services, whatever, to the world, but also the way that I present myself online and the way that I just try and live my life. I try and have it all, integrated and embodied throughout, not just like, this is how I am in real life, this is how I am online, this is how I am when I'm holding space. I'm just trying to be me. So you won't see a lot. I've held myself back for a long time in, getting my shit together, in the business sense, because I felt like I've needed to create this brand, like this consistent, clean cut, professional brand, to appeal to as many people as possible. And I understand why branding is important. I understand why these like marketing techniques are important to have a financially successful business in this day and age, because things need to be appealing to the masses. Things need to be aesthetically appealing, quick, short, little bite-sized bits of information that we don't need to pay much attention to. I understand that that's necessary to reach a wide audience. However, that's not the be-all and end-all for what I'm doing. That's why you won't see short-form content. You won't see, I use my own handwriting when I'm making my flyers now that I have the technology to do so. Because I'm... Did you hear that? It's like a huge swarm of bees just flew over my head, or is it? There's no drone around. Anyway, sending me west a bit. That. I unpaused it because I thought I remember what I said, but I don't. What I was saying, but I don't. Yeah, basically, I think I was just saying, I'm just standing on being me as much as possible. Even if it's goofy or I say the wrong shit all the time, or whatever, And I don't feel like I could fully do that in the ways that I was teaching. That's mad. The ways that I was teaching, I actually feel like I'm tripping. Because these like big, there's nothing, I can't see anything, there's no bees. that I can see, like no big swarm of bees, but it's like they're like circling my head. I might be going crazy right now. I think I'm having a psychotic break. About time. In this flipping world. Yeah, so afrocentric yoga, back to the point. I'm not making it into a brand. It's not, you know, it's just the best way to describe the way that I want to be teaching from here on out. For full transparency, I have a yoga teacher qualification, 200 hour yoga teacher qualification, that I've had since 2018. And I've been teaching since then in various capacities. And that is in traditional Hatha yoga, which is a great system. All of the little different types of yoga that you see here in the West are a branch of Hatha yoga. People would argue that, you know, it's whatever in it. But yeah, they all stem from Hatha. And a Hatha class can be Vinyasa style, it can be yin style. It basically means balance of the solar and lunar energies, masculine, feminine, hot and cold, yin and yang. So Hatha yoga it's all encompassing, really, when it comes to yoga in the West. And we're taught that is where that is the origin of yoga. That's what I was taught. And then shortly after, you know, being trained in that, I learned about Kemetic yoga, Smaitawi. So I was practicing with a teacher for a while. And for the past few years, I have been doing mostly like self-guided study. You know, the physical practice, but also the reading. And consistently trying to integrate the principles of that into life. And I haven't really been wanting to share much of that journey. Certainly not trying to teach that until I feel solid enough within myself to be able to share within my scope of practice. So that's the main thing. One of the main things that's been holding me back from getting back into, you know, into the yoga space. That because I do want to do my initiation with the teacher that I started the journey with. But you know, I'm raising a kid alone with no financial support, so my savings are gone. You know, the money that comes in from these donation-based classes all goes back into that. You know, so I can go through that training, even though I know I don't need a certification to teach Smaitawi. I think I have a solid enough practice to do so really well. However, it's something that I would want to do because I value the way that my specific teacher teaches. He's the only one really who I've had experience with. That's, you know, quite difficult to find, and you know, he's not even based in the same city, so it's a worthy investment. And it's a demonstration of dedication to your practice, investing in training. Even though, you know, you really legally, you don't even need a certification to teach yoga. You just have to in the West because of the rules and regulations, I know, for insurance purposes. But what's really important is your practice. The yoga world is such a massive industry now. Like these intensives I now learn are now 3 weeks, used to be 4 weeks, which even that is way too short. But they say you should have at least 5 years practice, like consistent practice under your belt before you teach. There's plenty of people who are like, oh, I feel like doing a teacher training, pay a couple of grand to do it, often more, come back and are teaching straight away, you know, but without much like solid practice. Maybe a good practice in the physical side, you know, with the asana, the physical side of it, maybe like the meditation, maybe some breath work, but certainly when it comes to integrating all of the principles, you know, that it's, I mean, it's a lifelong journey. It's a lifelong journey. But yeah, it's not, yoga is taught very irresponsibly. I feel like I was teaching irresponsibly back when I was teaching full time, just with what I was going through at that time, and the limitations to my awareness. So yeah, I've just been making sure that I am like ready. Been plenty of like moments where I've been like, I'm ready, I want to go back to teaching, and then I realize that I'm not. So I just kind of been doing what I can when I can. You know, so a lot of that's been yoga in the park. I've had private clients here and there, you know, since like throughout. But yeah, really it's just been, you know, integrating into my life and making sure I am actually embodying the principles that I want to, you know, teach about and hold space for. So that's where we're up to with that. So my classes, like the system of Hatha yoga is so thorough, it's comprehensive, it's explorative, which I think are some really great things about it. And it's very relevant to, you know, human life, life living in the West. You know, so I can't throw shade at it, you know. I can just build on, you know, what the changes that I build towards the changes that I want to see in the yoga world, which is, you know, exploration of the deeper roots. You know, really, yoga has been practiced in every civilization from the dawn of time. You know, yoga is dawn of humanity. Yoga is union. Your lower self, higher self, integrating those. You're recognizing God without as God within. You know, recognizing that what we this human experience that we're having is just like a snippet of the actual expansiveness of existence. You know, like we're infinite beings, and what we are experiencing here is really nothing in the grand scheme of things. But then not using that to bypass all of the shit that's important in the human physical realm. You know, so it's finding the balance between recognizing that, you know, nothing's really that deep. The only thing that should be deep and at the forefront of our minds and our intentions is that connection to higher self. So people have been doing that in various ways forever, you know. So, but Egyptian yoga, Kemetic yoga, Smaitawi is the first recorded evidence, you know, in the pyramids, the temples, the hieroglyphics. So yeah, that's kind of what I want to be paying homage to in my offerings moving forwards. And it's a transition, you know, so you're all here on the journey with me. You know, it's different practicing something, like it's a very experiential practice. So I'm finding that, you know, and it's a process, you know, taking what you've been practicing like within yourself and just like feeling it, and, you know, it's spiritual. It's nice. It's hard to verbalize that and then to share it, which I think is why the teacher training is helpful, because it helps to name those things and be able to share that message coherently. And I think that's one of the things that I will struggle with, but I'm gonna do my best. But you're here on the journey. So yeah, we'll be doing, you know, movements that we know from the system of Hatha. I'm also a qualified personal trainer, so we'll be doing, you know, body weight based conditioning. We'll be moving at a fast pace, or we're moving at a slow pace. Sometimes we might listen to music, sometimes we won't. In the park we don't usually, but, you know, once we're in the studio, we listen to black music. When we listen to music, things that make you think, very excited to create this container for you. You know, I've been sitting with it for a long time, just waiting for, you know, the moment. It's also finding a space, you know, its rent is crazy in the city. And I'm also a massage therapist, so maybe we'll do some self-massage. I'm just kind of like putting that plug in there for anybody who wants to book in for a massage at any point. You know, all of it is integrated as well, you know, talking about stuff that's happening within our lives, within the world. And yeah, hoping that in time, you know, I can also hold space for study and reasoning sessions, grief sessions, you know, like really just trying to actually come together as a community through like this ancient practice that I think is probably one of the most powerful things we can do. It's one thing doing it on your own, innit? But then doing it in community and like that collective consciousness, collective conscience that you're uplifting, it's bound to have a major impact. And you know, we need community. I know I need community. And what better way to come together than through something that connects you to God and recognizes your divine, your infinite divine essence. You know, how beautiful. So is that all I want to say? Let me think. So yeah, I think that's it. I just suddenly became really like hyper aware of how much I fiddle with my hair and like move my hand around. I was like, have I been still at any point during this video? So I get so many breakouts. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I'm here for. If you're here for it too, I would love to see you in session. I'm available, you know, for private coaching. Try and offer packages where we do all of it, all of what I just spoke about, like one-to-one, so you know, tailored to you. And we need more Black people, we need more African people, African Caribbean people, people of color, melanated people, whatever, in the yoga space. And I understand why we're not there. I get it, but this is the change that we need to see. But you need to show up. Don't let me, you know, be spending all this time and energy building something and you're just like, oh, I'll go next time. Come. Don't be stupid. You know, at the moment, the sessions are like ad hoc, when I can, when the weather allows, you know. So I am hoping to be offering more consistent classes from autumn. Right now I'm enjoying the summer, enjoying being outside, and yeah, just getting things in place so I can show with more consistency and with more variety, and yeah, just a more, you know, a holistic, offer more holistic, you know, things. Does that make sense? I feel like I've waffled a lot. But yeah, show up. The next class, when I'm posting this, is on Sunday, the 22nd of June in Moss Side, Alexandra Park, Moss Side, behind Bombay Cafe, which is in the pavilion. And I don't know when the next one will be. I think next weekend I'm going camping. And then I don't plan that far in advance. We just keep an eye on the weather in it. It could be snowing in a couple of weeks' time, so stay tuned. If you want to contribute, if you want to invest towards this vision, I'll put my PayPal details below. All donations from these classes go into this. But yeah, if you're not able to attend, if you see the vision, if you want to support in any way, then financially is the way. Sharing with your friends, sharing with your circle, sharing on your Instagram story. If you've been to my classes before, if you've practiced with me, I would love it if you could make a little video and talk about your experience, or even just write a little something. That would be really helpful too. Yeah, that's about it. Peace.